Hey there, welcome back to the Fanboy Cantina. It is great to have some time with you today. We're a little bit earlier today, so thank you for tuning in. And as always, we're joined by Mr. C. Mr. C, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling good. It was a real good Saturday. And again, yeah, here we are. I hope we're not throwing too much of a curveball by switching our start time. There's multiple variables in that. Around the Windy City, it's cicada season. So I was trying to test out the summer studio again, but
Mhm.
at present there was some cicada chirping. And so we're back in the indoor studio. We're also thinking of we're in school season again, and we got to have some school friendly Central Time Zone bedtimes to contend with around the house. I see a couple of our pals are already finding us at the earlier time, so that's always encouraging.
Yep. No, and so thank you all for tuning in. And Mr. C, we were originally supposed to talk about one or actually two things, but we've got some late breaking pieces, and so now we have that much more to cover here. Mr. C, this is Fanboy Cantina spelled with two N's and one Y, but it's not where you think.
Oh, I wish you'd prep me that exact retort was coming, but that's beautiful. And again, to reiterate, to further expand upon what you've just stated,
Yeah.
our plan A was to speak on She-Hulk episode 4 and to
Mhm.
speak on the new Disney Plus release of Thor Love and Thunder. So talking about homework and how much homework was done and not done. So we were ready for that stuff, but so we knew D23 was coming, but does that mean we got it together and actually prepped to receive all this influx, this full stream of Star Wars content and Marvel content and Disney content? Not so much. But here we are.
No, I am not. I am invoking the aura of Madison. Uh, yeah. So, what do we got to talk about first, Chris Hurst?
Well, where do we want to go to the corner first, or do we want to go
Oh,
to?
I don't know. I don't know. Let's. Why don't you take the keys?
All right. All right. Well, then let's say we had a question come in earlier here from Mr. Campbell. Uh, if you could, bring up our under brand toward the
Oh,
end of the
oh, okay.
selections
All
there.
right. Yes, I'm clicking around. I'm clicking
Right. Right. So
around.
yeah, you steer and I'll talk. Uh, so as we know, as has been the case in my life, as now in the case of this channel, uh, Jim Campbell likes to throw some curveball questions, and if we can pull up the brand, I'm sorry, the banner now to go with the brand.
Oh, the
Here's the
banner.
question.
Yes.
Here's the question that Jim Campbell sent in earlier today,
All
which
right.
but now let's formalize it. We're in Campbell's corner. Uh, Campbell may be appearing tardy to the start time here, but that's all right. He can catch it on the replay. So Campbell's question into Campbell's corner, which we will now feature in the segment Campbell's Corner. In the original Secret Wars comic, dot 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 dot, did the villains remember what happened, or were their memories erased? So this is a perfect Campbell question, and again, we were referencing the Secret Wars comic in relation to the She-Hulk Disney Plus TV show because She-Hulk had, amidst that full cast of multiple heroes,
Mhm.
She-Hulk had a good amount of screen time or page time in Secret Wars. So if anybody else in the chat, Mandarin, if you want to take a shot at that one, feel free. But here's my answer to Campbell's question for Campbell's Corner. Every single person in Secret Wars Volume 1 retained all of their memories. And I see over time we can perhaps blur some DC and Marvel items and DC and Marvel history. It was on the other side of the comicdom within DC, within the Crisis on Infinite Earths, that in a Wizzo like way, the Stone of Zen, not in DC, I'm just saying in general, a Stone of Zanzibar type maneuver was implemented, and it was the DC villains who had their memories wiped. I think the singular exception to that was the Psycho Pirate, but then anyway. So all the Marvel villains did retain their memories. The DC villains, except for Psycho Pirate, had their memories wiped. So I'm sure Campbell will catch up with us in a bit, and then we can go full circle back around to Campbell's Corner again as needed.
That's right. This segment is sponsored by Campbell's Soup. Okay. And Mr. C, your shirt is fire. Very nice
Thanks,
shirt
Mandarin.
there.
Thank you. Gotta again represent
With
that
the tiki
relaxation lifestyle.
I am wearing the Calumet High Wolverines shirt
Oh,
in
yes,
the
you are.
Ukrainian blue and yellow.
Oh, yes, you are.
All right. Well, see that one I would not have been able to field in the least. All right, and yes, okay, that's all right. That's pretty much my case too. All right, so where are we going next, Mr. C?
Should we go to the scrolling to take care of the new content that came up at us, or we can?
Okay, no, let's do that.
All right,
let us field the D of 23. So D23 happening right now in Southern California. Wish I was there. Wish we were there. And so much news already out. Yesterday there was the the Disenchanted trailer, which I still haven't watched yet. Also some other pieces as well, but so much hit today actually in the Marvel and Star Wars space that we know and love. But we're going to mainly focus, I think, here with the okay, yeah. Thank you. I got a haircut.
Concur, man. Looking good. And
yeah, okay. Yes, I do have a shirt. For whatever reason, I never get to get around to wearing it. All right, so let's see what happens. Okay, thank goodness this actually works. Although it probably helps if I scroll up. So this is the Polygon article on all the Marvel news that came out of D23 earlier today. I saw this actually on Facebook in the Marvel Facebook page, Werewolf by Night. Mr. C, I did not know that this was coming out. This was not on my radar.
I only recently learned of it as I layer my werewolf photo behind me and my werewolf geeky tiki mug in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think it's as it says there, October 7 will be the Disney Plus release date of Werewolf by Night. Mm-hmm. And as we know, or as we've discussed in the past on this very channel, it was in the Marvel series Werewolf by Night where Moon Knight made his first appearance. Mm-hmm. So having looked at this trailer, man, I have a reverence for Universal Pictures and the legacy, the classic horror stuff that Universal has provided for us. However, oh boy, somehow Disney Marvel right here is out Universaling Universal. This trailer looked great. Again, the black and white and gray stuff. It's everything about it. Is it October 7th? Yeah, I got just less than a month to stay patient.
That's right.
So I think I can hold it together, but I'm really excited about this trailer.
Yeah, no, it looks like was not on my radar, and I'm excited. I'm interested. I would like to learn more, and I would like to even see more of this. I did watch the Secret Invasion trailer just moments ago. If I remember right, I have read these comics, the Secret Invasion arc that happened a number of years ago, but this trailer, yeah, I didn't know what to make of it. Actually, it was not what I had expected to see. Thoughts, reactions to Secret Invasion. With
Secret Invasion. Here's Nick Fury, a grizzled, So now he's Nick Fury is pulling a Bill Murray per his conversation with the Maria Hill character.
Mhm.
He's not answering. He's letting it go to voicemail. So Bill Murray is pretty well known for not being easy to get a hold of. Like his answering machine tape or his voicemail is pretty loaded up to the max. So, but what would make, now let's speculate, what would make Nick Fury not respond to a call? Well, maybe just a busy to-do list, or maybe he's not feeling he's at the height of his powers anymore. Maybe he's not feeling at the peak of his game. Maybe his cumulative battle weariness has put him in a bad position. So so the intrigue is building. Which of these things will it be? What's his mindset? What's his experience? So, and if I can go beyond just the question itself, She-Hulk, clearly lighter content, clearly strongly emphasizing humor, as did Thor, Love and Thunder, as did Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a whole lot of comedy well infused across the different properties or titles or characters of Marvel. But now here we come back with something that appears that it's going to be under the subgenres of drama and adventure and superhero and action. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And again, we have a date on it? I don't see a date, but
No.
when let me deal with the Werewolf by Night stuff and rewatch that a bunch of times until such time as Secret Invasion has its release.
You know, I was thinking about with the She-Hulk discussion that we're going to have in a moment, kind of like what we had talked about last time. What's great about that show is that it's pushing the limits of not pushing the limits, but it's taking the MCU franchise into different directions, different genres. And I was actually missing the Winter Soldier, kind of story, right? And taking the MCU very deep or very hard into that spy genre. So the notion of Secret Invasion maybe going that way with it, as opposed to a deep science fiction kind of story with the invasion of Skrulls. I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to this as well.
That's an excellent cross-reference to make with Winter Soldier, who, when we get to the Thunderbolts material, who will be featured over there. But again, the mashup of genres and themes. So as did the Scarlet Witch and Vision, the WandaVision series, had some layers of sitcom and some layers of not sitcom, of I don't know, full on horror, but definitely some sinister elements brewing around as those things were fused together. So now maybe we're getting a fusing of some 50s alien sci-fi and spy genre, and the remnants of World War II genre from Nick Fury before he was of S.H.I.E.L.D., how he was Sergeant Fury out in the battlefield in World War II. So I would anticipate, as Marvel has proven well over time, that they can integrate different plot lines, how they can integrate some pieces of Thor into World War Hulk and produce a really good movie in that way, or produce other good series to Disney Plus or to the big screen. So I think we remain in a good position to see good things coming to us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a whole other chat going on.
All right, let's catch up on some.
Let's see. Okay, I was showing up in the Fanboy C, showing up on the Fanboy C set dressed as Thor or She-Hulk. Well, yeah, okay, and yeah, okay, all right, okay. Let us move. I don't even know what's going on here. All right. So let's move on. So Don Cheadle returning for Armor Wars. This one kind of just seemed to fall off the map or fall off the radar. So it's nice to see it back again. I do like War Machine. I do like the Don Cheadle character, the character played by Don Cheadle, and I do like War Machine. Not much else information. Not much other information here, other than he's coming back.
Right. And I don't know that much. I do have the visual memory of seeing Don Cheadle sit in the same shot as Sam Jackson. So right there, you have two powerhouses.
That's right, in the
Who are
previous,
most likely not on the same side with each other if we're sticking to the source material, which again, they have to have some influence from the comic book pages source material. But this is stuff in the early and mid 80s where Tony Stark and James Rhodes didn't want the Stark tech or the armor technology to fall into the hands of anyone, including the US government, including Shield. And so there were armor wars. There were all kinds of drastic measures taken to protect their intellectual property or to safeguard their armor technology. So again, the creative teams at the time on the pages were I never know if I say his name right, Michelini on the writing side, and very often Bob Layton was on pencils. A real good time to be picking up paper copies of Iron Man in a pre-internet world.
No, I'm just trying to read the chat and try and figure out what's going on right now. So I'm gonna stay focused here.
Yeah. Let's leave the chat. I like to stay current on the chat, but for this, as I glance over to the side of what is in the chat,
I'm not quite sure what's going on. Yeah. All right. So and this is just some quick pieces here. So we've got a villain cast for Ironheart, and that is was Anthony Ramos from In the Heights, also from Hamilton, if I'm not mistaken. So that is cool. Ki Hui Kwan joining the Loki cast, and so made an appearance at D23, taking a break from the shooting the shooting schedule over there. So that is cool. Great to see his star rise again after falling professionally, seeming to fall out of the map acting wise, and now with Everything Everywhere All at Once, really just amplifying this him again. So that's very cool. And then we've got Fantastic Four now has a director, and that is Matt Shackman, otherwise known from his work, I believe, on WandaVision.
Says right there. So hey, that's encouraging. I completely enjoyed WandaVision on multiple levels, and so I look forward to having that same guiding hand or that figurehead to implement the Fantastic Four movie.
I would love to see some casting news. I think many people had expected casting news to show up at
some
D23.
Confirmed casting news would be great. There's all speculation of all sorts around the net, but yes, some confirmed casting news would be some good stuff.
And so we've got the leader reappearing in Captain America: New World Order, and then we've got also the Thunderbolts news. I think none of this is really a surprise, really. I don't know.
Well, and in the earlier days, and maybe it's still stated, or maybe it's still possibly the case, that there was the quote unquote villain problem for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You kill the villain at the end of the movie, then that's one less, major villain to encounter. So the fact that the leader is going to come back, and again, they're finding ways to utilize the Hulk, given the complexities of the Universal Pictures deal and licensing with Marvel. So I'm all for, right? We're probably soon to see Doctor Doom have a new style and a new development compared to his past showing in the past Fantastic Four movies. We've seen Ian McKellen give us a really great Magneto. We could go down the list of great renditions of villains. So now the leader is due his time to come up and shine and go against the Hulk and whoever else. And to get to the more current image that we have showing here, the Thunderbolts, again, if you want to put some espionage and some intrigue and some layer, I am so looking forward to Thunderbolts. It gives that other variable. As I've recently reread the Secret Wars comics.
Yeah.
So right there was ultimately three factions: those of the villains, those of the non-mutant superheroes, and then the X-Men and Magneto kind of broke off into their own grouping. So instead of just having good guys versus bad guys, there was some more intricacy and there was some triangulation. So in a similar way to that, the Thunderbolts are completely not the Avengers. They're not the clean. So it's going to be a lot of questioning what motivations they have. Will the ends justify the means, or how are they going to take care of business? But just look left to right or right to left. So now we got Julia Louis-Dreyfus. We have the ghost villain coming back from the second Ant-Man. Now, as a fan of Stranger Things on Netflix, I'm really excited to see what's our guy's real name? David Harbour. I'm really happy to see David Harbour come back, and then Taskmaster and the whole thing. That Florence Pugh, and now, so here's another. Okay, so Bucky Barnes and U.S. Agent did not part on good terms when last we saw them. So again, as we've recently referenced, Hawkeye and Captain America in the comics would be sniping at each other. And it's, the whole Marvel's based on that, going back to the Fantastic Four, having Ben Grimm snipe at Reed Richards and such. So now here's another opportunity with some different specifics to have Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, and U.S. Agent just be standing next to each other and ready to destroy each other. That's a real interesting a set of circumstances to come all together.
Yeah, that Bucky is definitely, or the Winter Soldier is definitely the surprise for me. I mean, U.S. Agent and many of the others, I think we could have seen coming for sure. But the Bucky pairing with U.S., that's not what I would have expected. It is nice that they're able to take some of the characters from Black Widow and incorporate here. But yeah, okay. So in the chat, Spoder, it's great to have you here. So thank you.
Spoder, I can't say when the last time was, but I clearly remember your name popping up. Glad to have you back. Glad to have you back around, Spoder.
All right, and then what do I see? I have no idea what's going on here. And then Florence Pugh, okay, Pugh, and Fanboy J is reading the chat. Yes, where did it all go wrong? That is exactly.
Well, we can attribute that to a dark and stormy night long, long ago. But if we get into further detail on that, I don't know if we're helping out our current episode and our current subject matter. So it is what it is.
That's right. All right. So I'm going to try to do something else here on the fly, Mr. C, and let us see what happens. Okay. So I'm going to hit this. I'm going to hit this, and we can try to talk ever so quickly about. Okay. Is it doing anything? It's not doing anything. Okay. Okay. There we go. No, that's the same one again. I actually hear, and so I'm going to click. I'm sorry. I know that I'm narrating myself as I try to navigate through.
That's right. You want to go one shot on me for a minute, and then while you're
no, we're all good. We are all good. So we've got let's try to knock out the D23 Star Wars news, which wasn't a whole lot of news here. A lot of it I felt we've either seen before or knew was coming. We've got the new Andor trailer, which
I did see that trailer, and let me tell you, talk about having a tone of seriousness that which might rival the Secret Invasion. Man, and hey, I more associate Diego Luna and his voice to the character of Manolo out of the amazing animated picture Book of Life. So that's how I'm more familiar with him. That's how I know him. But wow, is he really, he presents as, he's not a Han Solo. He's not a Luke Skywalker. He's his own kind of rebel with his own kind of history, his own set of motivations. And he is all in on taking down the Empire. And there appear to be from the trailer itself, there's some serious stakes and some serious challenges as to how he's going to continue his vendetta, his mission, how he's going to continue his attack.
The trailer to me seemed similar to the previous trailer that we received that we've seen before. But yeah, I love I love this. Yeah, it looks like it's a higher level of seriousness or a different type of pace than what we have seen in the other series. I enjoy the other series as well, but this one seems like it's its own unique animal. So looking forward to that one for sure. Also, since it was Disney Plus Day earlier in the week, there is the 10-minute piece from Andor that also has a clip included in it. Looks great. It looks really great. And that's just days away now at this point. It comes out on the 21st. Scrolling on through, there's the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. I think a lot of people have already seen this. It did show at Star Wars Celebration earlier in, was it May, I think, or May or June? I should remember I was there. So I think a lot of people have already seen that. I didn't see that because I was not on that at that panel, but like a lot of the internet, you might have seen a subreddit post or something with that clip. So it's nice to see it in full color, and it looks great. I'm excited to get back into the Mandalorian.
Again, a piece of family friendly tone, yet also revved up and ready to go.
Yep. And then scrolling on through, so Tales of the Jedi. It looks like from I didn't realize that an episode had aired at Celebration. I think that's right. I like these short pieces that they do. So if it further rounds out the story, all the better. And then the Bad Batch has, I think this is a later date, drifting out to January of 2023. And then with Ahsoka, we've got that updated image. But and that image, what you see in the background there is the same thing that you see at the end of Rebels, the animated series. So
again, that same consistent, time-proven animation style. Again, not stuff that I've delved into very deeply, but not stuff that I'm looking to avoid. So I welcome the release dates, and I welcome the content, and let's go, and let's give it a spin to enjoy it.
So this article, I'm multitasking here. So this article is doesn't have the name of the person who was cast as Ezra, who will appear in the Ahsoka series, and that is Iman Esfandi. He has been cast to play the role of Ezra Bridger. That's different than I think some hopes of other fan casting choices. I don't know this actor at all, but seems to look the part, I guess. And so, yeah, I'm excited for progress on that series. I really like the Ahsoka character, one of the newer characters to the franchise. So I'm looking forward to it.
But will Ezra be better than Ezra?
Oh boy, yes. And before somebody dings me, yes, I know that Ahsoka has been in the Clone Wars and stuff, but I really got to know that character from the Rebels cartoon, from the Rebels animated series. So looking forward to that. And then I have not watched this. This is Willow returning again. Warwick Davis. Nice that he's returning to the role. But I'll be honest, I haven't seen this trailer yet, so I'll have to click on that one.
But now, as did between the original runs, as did Mark Hamill, as did Harrison Ford, as did Carrie Fisher, get chances to revisit their characters, which they portrayed earlier on in their careers. So now here, let's add Warwick Davis to that list. Let's hope Warwick Davis gets a better result than maybe some of the results that came to the other founders of the genre, if you will. But yeah, so hey, I know very little about Willow. You're honest, Poacher. I have not seen Willow, So I'd have to get oriented to it, but just the thumbnail right there, it's got enough to get my attention.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird. Yeah, I was thinking the other day about how certain movies um, seem to just catch and stick, and they seem to be emblematic or have represented a particular period of time, and then others less so. They just have drifted off the radar. You can think about that of like music, like I don't know, in your neck of the woods, there's a resurgence in '90s like retro music. Which I don't think '90s is that retro, but whatever. And it seems, and so like you listen to these '90s stations, and they're picking a particular band, right? So it's like Backstreet Boys all the time, or NSYNC all the time, and maybe you'll hear a Spice Girl song every other or every once in a while. But it's kind of a narrow band that they've chosen here. You don't hear Better Than Ezra. You don't hear any of the grunge era, either,
Yeah.
which is kind of odd. But anyways, but to bring it back to Willow, yeah, this is what I did see Willow on VHS back in the day, but it has, yeah, I'm sorry to say that it hasn't stuck with me. But I want to give it another chance now with the new attention. Labyrinth would be another one. Labyrinth, a creepy movie, and for whatever for me as a kid, it was a creepy movie. But for whatever reason, it hasn't stuck with me, despite having what David Bowie, Jennifer Connelly. It should stick, but yeah, it's these weird blind spots, I think, for pop culture for me.
We each have our own such blind spot.
All right, and when will Disney do a Wilbur Hood series? Because his ice cream brings all the droids to the yard. They're right; it's better than yours. But anyways, and there's the ice cream. So yeah, Wilbur Hood is popular from Empire Strikes Back, shown carrying literally the ice cream machine there, which now is the Camtono. Now it's like normalized that dude's ice cream machine is a thing in the Mandalorian. All right, so is anything else that we should cover on D23 for now?
Well, for our snippet format,
Yeah.
I think we're good. Again, there's so much to we remain amateurs in our endeavors here. So given that we're not on the pro level, given that we're not going to do deep dives and research and speculations and have 12 different comic books to hold up to dive into the source material, given that we are who we are and we are what we are, then I think we're good to
there you go.
close out the D23 lead of the show and move in what was to be the lead of the show, good old Jen Walters.
All right, so let's talk about She-Hulk episode 4. Episode 4. So we get further into the series. We get a little bit more Wongers in the series, and we have the introduction of Donnie Blaze as the magician in the series. What did you think of episode 4?
Credit to the actor and to the writers for making an annoying character completely annoying. So I see why Wong wants to I don't know if I paraphrase, but Donnie Blaze is going to pay. Somebody get that guy to pay. Somebody get his wallet, get his cash, get his credit card, do something to make this clown pay for his clownish ways.
Yeah. So what overall impressions for this episode? I didn't like it very much. It's fine. I think at this, I also notice on YouTube there are some people who genuinely hate this series. All right, there's something else going on. What am I missing? Okay, all right, that's great. Yes, all right. Oh boy.
All right, let's get that back off the screen.
All right, and yes, okay.
Yes, there are.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So, so yeah, with this episode, or with this series, it is exactly squarely within its genre. It is doing its genre, I think, pretty well. I think it does a good job of telling this story that is central to Jen Walters. You've got some of that Ally McBeal type of sitcom type of approach, but they are knocking it out of the park. I think in terms of going for this genre, they are doing a great job. Whether it works for me could be a slightly different thing. This episode felt like I hate to say the word filler, but it is that we had from episode 3 the wrecking crew appearing, trying to perhaps get the blood of Jen Walters, and there's no real advancement here. So it kind of, and that's okay, right? This is okay for me. If it is what we talked about, I think 2 weeks ago or thereabouts, if it's Monster of the Week and it's a different thing happening, then that's okay. That's all right. It doesn't have to be that everything's a a big arc. Maybe this is just sort of a little arc, and that's okay. But yeah, it's just sort of, if I think too hard about it, then some of it doesn't make sense. But it's fine.
Let's do a bit of the Siskel Ebert bit, or
All
a
right.
bit of the Laurel Hardy bit, a bit of the Abbott and Costello bit. I don't want to throw Dante and Randall in here too. That's a whole lot of guys. But let me come to the point. As far as the payoff or filler. So I'm going to take the other side of the coin position from that. I'm going to say, given that in the other show, they were directly showing in the newscast, oh, She-Hulk is your name, She-Hulk, establishing how did Jennifer Walters get the public media name of She-Hulk. So that's been, plant a seed, plant a very similar seed, or revisit the, a couple of different times that's been flagged and called out. So now, come toward the end of the episode here, okay, so the lawyer Jen Walters flipped in her green She-Hulk iteration and very quickly cleaned the clock of Titania in the courtroom. So now, turnabout fair play, here comes Titania. I'm going to assume in the MCU that she's not a lawyer, but she then, as she was physically bested by She-Hulk, now she's cerebrally bested She-Hulk in the round 2 to pull the trademark thing. So now I'm thinking that is set up for their battle. Again, I mean, it was, talk about suspend disbelief. So where I can side with you, some of the premises are just ridiculous. Like Wong is going to come say, hey, I want to sue. Okay, in a non-comedic setup, I would like to believe Wong would just do like this and take back the sling ring in some kind of a way, and that would be case closed. But if you go with that realism within the fantasy realm, then you don't get a story. So what should I do against the demons? Well, do Hulk stuff. Go Hulk at them. It was a little bit neat to see Donnie Blaze have to grovel then toward the end. So again, I get where you're coming from. I enjoyed it. I
enjoyed it.
And then I'm hoping that, again, that the whole idea of the first courtroom, the battle toward the end of episode 1, and now the trademark, let's say that was round 1 of their conflict. Let's say the trademarking issue is round 2 of their conflict. So as they get farther and further, both farther and further into their fight, that we will see a well orchestrated, well choreographed, with some comedy, but some quality stunt work as well, or quality CGI interpretation, some mocap suits, if you will. Let's see these two titans clash.
Yeah, but do I need to see two Marvel characters clash in a courtroom here? Yeah, there's an article by there's an article about one of the writers for She-Hulk, and they admit that they're not they're not legal kind of writers. They're not accustomed to that type of genre. They're doing the sitcom part, I think, exceedingly well, but when it comes to the courtroom pieces, you're not looking at LA Law or The Practice or Boston Legal or Alec Mc, you're not looking at any of those types of shows.
So
It's just a little bit more superficial. It's entertaining. It's fine. Um, yeah, and it's fine. I'm having a good time in the series. Yeah, but if you think too hard, like, okay, go ahead.
no, as you put those points together, I can't refute. And then it was filler because again, they're stating, being transparent, however you want to describe it, that we're not going to be able to deliver the same caliber. We'll be in the same concepts as your Ally McBeals and your Practices and your Boston Legals, but we're not going to achieve the same degree of detail of the courtroom procedure and nuance. The mental chess that occurs in the courtroom, they're not built to get farther into that game. So maybe it's more like they're playing checkers instead of chess. So yeah, there is a legit limitation to what this series is doing in that regard.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I like the checkers versus chess analogy. Yeah, and that mental type of
Just
game.
came up with that one on the fly.
No, that was very good. Okay, so episode 4 displayed all. Okay, yes, and is Wong dating that drunk Madison? Did you like Madison?
I'd like to think Wong is babysitting the drunk lady, but I wanted to say, who does that character remind me of? And again, I hardly watch Saturday Night Live compared to the way I'd watch Saturday Night Live in the 80s and 90s. And so I even hope I was careful, but I was careful, but I'm still not confident I'm getting the name correct. But the human being, the cast member of Saturday Night Live is Cecily Strong. Springfield, Illinois' own Cecily Strong. Shout out, represent Illinois. But her character, who would appear on the news segments, was the girl you wish you had not started a conversation with at a party.
Yes.
And I think Madison is very similar to that character. I won't say they're supposed to be relatives or what have you, but it is so similar, the type of character that Madison is to the girl that you wish you hadn't started a conversation with at a party. So, I'll say who wore it better. I think maybe Cecily Strong. I've watched that interpretation of that character. I think that's really funny. I find her less annoying than Madison. So I don't. So we'll see where else Madison goes. We have some more episodes yet to cover.
Yeah, it was the Mariners rights. It was another version of Sex in the City. A little freaky with She-Hulk. Yeah, there is. It's a thirsty show, man.
I'm only going to say yes. I agree with Mandarin, and I will cover no more detail on it. That there's nothing else that needs to be said. That's been correctly and articulately summarized in Mandarin's comment.
Yeah. No, I mean, but I give the show credit for being able to go down that track and share the dating life of Jen Walters. They're doing it. Again, those parts I think are where the series particularly shines. Wong was right. Okay, and what else?
Wong.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
All right.
It took me a minute to see what you did there, but you did.
As long as She-Hulk isn't as confusing as Moon Knight, yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
She-Hulk will never ever be as confusing as Moon Knight.
Oh boy, typical Friday night at the Mandarin's house. Oh boy. So,
man, first Mandarin wants to maintain his anonymity, then he drops select little nuggets of what goes on behind the scenes in Mandarin land. So that again, that's an interesting continuing mix of what Mandarin's willing to give us.
So I agree with Jim Campbell here. Yeah, and so maybe it's like it's the palate cleanse. It's the amuse bouche here of, it's just different. It's just a different thing. So this is the flip side. This is kind of the flip side of the seriousness of Civil War, a lighthearted way that the world is now moving forward with superheroes. Yeah.
And gee, as Mr. Campbell was tardy, if you will, or joining us a little bit late today, can we show for Campbell now that he's live in the room our new feature?
Yes. Yeah. So we have a new Campbell's Corner.
It's official.
Established.
Campbell's Corner.
All right. And okay, and the junkyard writes down, I'm too distracted by the great art behind Mr. C to follow the talk. Yeah.
Well, hey, Junkyard, I appreciate that. And let's just take a little pan around, right? So this, I was kind of in chronological order here, but let's start with the direct from Fanboy G himself, the autograph of Rico Browning in that black and white image of him as the creature. And then we have, this is Doug Horn, the artist on the creature, featuring the Japanese style fish float light bulb or buoy lights there, and then of course our classic werewolf drinking a pina colada at Trainer Vic's, and his hair remains perfect. And then if we pan up, if I can successfully do this without crashing the whole cart, again in chronological order, we got a Bauhaus button right there on Bela Lugosi Dracula. It doesn't get any better than Frankenstein in a Hawaiian shirt playing bongos. The Mummy, again, featuring the glass float lights. A good mashup of tiki and a good mashup of hieroglyphics. That beetle wearing a fez hat really brought it over the top for me. And then, yeah, we got Nosferatu, again, with a bat, with a fez hat, the glowing light again. And just some guy that really should have got out of the bar before closing time, a little bit chained up there. So thanks, Junkyard, for the shout out on that stuff. Again, Junkyard, I just I appreciate your appreciating that. And clearly this is horror content, but clearly we're having many different varieties of content that we're offering here.
Anything else that we ought to cover about She-Hulk episode 4?
Let me just take a quick scan of the old notes there. I did get the Cecily Strong.
I wonder if so. I'm wondering, did Madison, is she cursed? Did she really give her blood to some demon here? And actually, might this be? I mean, it's not an accident that the magician's name is Donnie Blaze.
No, that's got to be some setup, or at least a tease, or at least a fake out toward Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider character, one of Junkyard's favorite all-time characters, if I may say, with confidence, I do say. So again, why are you calling him Donnie Blaze? Why are you making the name so similar to Johnny Blaze? Yeah, oh, okay, Marvel, I'll pay attention. I'll see what's coming next. Good stuff ahead.
Yeah. Well, I hope I did like the Madison character, so I hope she hasn't been cursed to the devil, as it were, here.
Gee, let me ask you: are you familiar with the girl at the conversation, or the girl at the party with whom?
Yeah.
And so similar to Madison, or dissimilar to Madison, or
what? Very similar. Very similar. I'm trying to think. Can I pull off a Cecily Strong thing? I get. Everybody can do the Madison thing because everybody's seen Madison at some point. But Cecily Strong is able to turn it up a notch, where I don't think I can do that. And Wong needs a lady like Madison to lighten this up. And so the end credits piece is a lot of fun. Who would have thought that Wong likes a good gin and tonic?
We see, without Madison, we wouldn't have known that. So
That's
there's
right.
some value to the character after all.
Were you a fan of The Sopranos?
I've watched very few episodes of Sopranos, to tell you the truth, and good thing that's not too important to me, because here comes spoiler alert, Madison, chirping away at what's going on with that.
I did feel bad for anybody who's just picking up the series. For the moments that she did spoil, those are kind of big deals in the series. So that was unfortunate. But how many years is that? How many years old is that series now at this point?
Who was real obscure deep cuts here for Donnie's?
Who is Donnie's mentor dude? So Donnie's mentor dude is Cornelius something. And there's an article that says the actor Leon Lamar is actually the oldest character to appear in the MCU at the age of 103.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so I don't think the character is somebody from the comics necessarily, but he does show up in the fandom page for MCU characters.
All right,
And
let me go
yeah.
that deep cut reference to tie some Mandarin business together. Who's the actor who played Tony Soprano? I can't think of his name. Anyway, if we don't get his name, it's not important. But that's
James Gandolfini.
Gandolfini. Thank you. So a younger Gandolfini is in Get Shorty as Bear the Stuntman with Chili Palmer, John Travolta. As Mandarin was referential to Travolta before, I wanted to tie those random threads together, and now we can proceed on. Blue, good to have you in the room. We invented Campbell's Corner. We didn't do all the banners, but we're also going to have Mandarin's Minute, and then for Blue, I was Blues banter. So if you keep with us, you'll have some banners up on the screen because again, clearly we're not getting T-shirts and coffee mugs together. So the least we can do is get you some banners up here.
So Blue, you watched Aliens 1 and 2, but 3 1. yeah. The first movie is such a great horror movie. It does that genre perfectly well, scary as heck. And I remember seeing that movie, I think on Betamax, no less. And it's just scary. And then Aliens is just like a whole other movie, and it's just a iconic film of the 80s. I had a conversation with my buddy Walt, who has been on this channel before. He could name I think 8 Colonial Marines. I could only name 4: Drake, Vasquez, Hicks, and Hudson. Those were the 4 that I could name. But he could get up to 8, which I cannot do. Post in the comments if you're able to name all of the Colonial Marines, if you're able to do better than me. I missed Apone. I don't know why I'm talking about this. So I missed Apone, who's the sergeant. But then there's the pilot and other ones. I couldn't do it. And Sassin the Sasquatch. Yes, all right. And what okay, Psycho. Okay, I don't know what that was referring to.
Anytime we got Sasquatch and Campbell banter, right. it only enriches the show.
Yeah. All right. So are we on time? Yeah, I think we should probably move on from the She-Hulk discussion.
All right, let's do that.
All right, so let's get to our final topic here, which is, and if you got other topics, by the way, if you're watching live, feel free to toss them on in. But let's talk about Thor, Love, and Thunder. I saw this in the theaters when it came out, and thanks to Disney Plus Day, be sure to change the batteries in your fire alarms or your smoke detectors, and put the tree away after celebrating Disney Plus Day. But Disney Plus Day brought Thor: Love and Thunder, the new Andor bit, the 10-minute Andor bit. Also, what else did I watch? Oh, the Obi-Wan Kenobi behind the scenes video, which is really great stuff. I still think that the series has some flaws, but with that vignette, well, not vignette, with that hour-long documentary, you really get to appreciate the love that went into that series. So that's definitely worth watching. There's also the Cars thing, which I don't know if I'll ever get to, and Pinocchio, which I probably will never get to based on some of the reviews that I've heard on that. But it is the gift of Thor: Love and Thunder. Mr. C, what did you think of this film?
I don't know if you chose the phrasing "the gift" because you're also referencing Hercules. So we don't have our spoiler alert here, but that was Hercules. Hey, ho! I'll give thee the gift of battle. So Campbell, you've been waiting to hit me up on the Thor talk. So drop as many questions into Campbell's Corner into the chat as you want. So similar to She-Hulk, I'm enjoying the comedy. There's again, so you got some screaming goats. It's a little bit funny of a bit. You got Guardians in there for a little minute. None of them gets much screen time. None of them have that many well-articulated lines or hardly any speaking lines whatsoever. But okay, I'm enjoying the ride. I'm along for it. It's not Avengers 2 or Avengers 3 or Avengers 4. It's not Iron Man. It's not Cap and Captain America the second one featuring the espionage and all that stuff. So it is what it is. It's supposed to be a romp. It's supposed to be entertaining. And I'm looking forward, because going back to Clash of the Titans, we've seen Zeus on the screen, on the Hercules on the TV in the mid-90s. Here's Tony Quinn portraying Zeus as a guest star here and there. And the more recent iteration of Clash of the Titans, here comes Zeus again. From the trailer, I'm thinking, okay, now we're going to have Zeus, Russell Crowe, fake Greek accent. That's probably going to be fun. Let me tell you. So I'm enjoying the movie up until Zeus, and now I'm legit I'm legit disappointed. And okay, so that's the whole thing. Like, you can't stay with the comics because you got to let them create their own thing, right? That's a thought that goes through the YouTube verse. And so here's what. Okay, as I mentioned Bob Layton earlier. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Hercules Miniseries 1 of 4, Volume 1. Right. So my first exposure to Hercules, or my first getting to know the character, I know this is the first stuff, but this is my first in-depth checking out Hercules, right? Bob Layton on writing and on art. So what's Herc? Herc is gonna Herc. He's here clowning around, hanging out with some. So what does Zeus do? Zeus is like Zeus is not amused. And he lets him know it in all caps. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's look, you see the anger in those eyes right there? That's very similar to Odin. So the whole Odin to Thor, Zeus to Hercules, father-son relationship was so similar. You had a super-powered god or demigod offspring who was feeling themselves and feeling their powers and such and clowning around. And then the dads would come and put him in check. This was a very different Zeus. But before I come to how different that Zeus was, let me go to Hercules Miniseries 1 through 4, Volume 2. Because the first series sold so very well. Hey, Bob Layton, you're selling books? We're going to do it again. Okay? So now look at this. And I'm not saying, sometimes the term swipe is referred to if one artist had done a panel very similar to a different artist, a swipe or a steal. But now, as I just showed Volume 1, look at this. So right here again is Zeus lighting up his son. Look at the similarity in these two panels. Like, it's essentially the same thing. What I'm trying to say is, whether you're in Volume 1, check out the Chuck Norris on the back there. That's check out the Frogger on the back over here. Whether you're in Volume 1 or Volume 2, Zeus is a formidable, angry god. And now I'm looking forward to a little bit of clowning around in a fake Greek accent, because so far Zeus has had either a British accent or Tony Quinn speaking with his Mexican-raised influence, similar accents, similar pronunciations between Greek people and Mexican people. And I'm thinking this is going to be really good. And you got the I'm just going to say that's not my Zeus. That's not my Zeus.
Oh yeah. Okay. And so that was the part where you were disappointed.
Well, if I'm you, I'm disappointed well before I got there.
Well before then, yes.
For me, I'm suspending disbelief. I'm saying, okay, this is a distinct voice. If you're in the ice cream shop, you can't get every flavor of ice cream all at once, or you're going to overload yourself. So I was good with the lighter fare ice cream flavor that Thor Love and Thunder was. But then came Zeus on the screen.
Yeah.
And then I saw the thing where they cut the scene out where Zeus was like more serious about it and taking Thor for a walk and giving him a pep talk. I'm like, you couldn't have cut another 30 seconds here or there and given me like a legit Odin's gone, right? So then here's another dad figure. But anyway, so that go ahead.
Let's catch up because a lot of banter about Zeus here. Russell Crowe's accent was confusing as Zeus. Yeah, did the accent work? It may not have.
No, in the trailer I thought it was, but in the movie I'm like this. Chris Farley had a better Greek accent than Do You Like the Juice? Okay, all the Adam Sandlers and Rob Snyders and everybody, they had the better fake Greek accent than Russell Crowe.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of Greeks in Australia.
Yes,
I'm just saying, lots of Greeks in Australia. It's not like he didn't have the opportunity.
Oh boy, yes, yeah, So a lot of comments that the accent did not quite work. And is that Machine Man on the cover of Hercules?
Junkyard. Are we talking volume 1 or volume 2? It is the recorder, not Machine Man. Oh, here again, getting there. So there's there's the recorder, not exactly Machine Man, but from the Shield television show that was on ABC. They didn't call him the recorder, but they called him what they call him. It was I don't know the actor's name, but the guy had his head shaved or he was bald, and they called the Chronicom or whatever. So that is, fancier TV talk for the recorder. So the recorder was Herc's little sidekick, again, like Batman and Robin. So it's not just having thought balloons only, so he could actually speak out loud to someone else who's on the adventure with him. So yeah, the recorder was his sidekick, not Machine Man.
And I'll correct you on the back cover. That is not Chuck Norris. That is Barry Bostwick, because deeds, not words. That is Megaforce, where the good guys still always win, even in the 80s. That is one of my favorite movies, actually. And I have it on Blu-ray as a Japanese import. I love it that much. Is it a great movie? No, but it's enjoyable. It's one of my favorite G.I. Joe movies because there has yet to be a really good G.I. Joe movie. But anyways, sorry if I don't have a dog, but I did. I didn't have a dog. All right. This part, yes, the play in Thor where you've got Matt Damon and the
other Hemsworth,
the other Hemsworth, yeah.
And Melissa McCarthy.
Yes, she's really good. That was pretty good. Pretty good. Where's the newt in all of this Hercules talk? And all right. So I'm just looking at my notes. I believe we have. I don't think I did a solo review of Thor: Love and Thunder, but I did not.
It's been a minute, so
if I don't think I did. But so I did watch it again now on Disney Plus. Again, I saw it in the theater, and when I saw it in the theater, I was disappointed. Pretty much from the beginning, I felt like the jokes did not work. There was a Men in Black movie. I think it's called Men in Black International, the 4th Men in Black film. And that one pairs Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson together again. And with that caliber of talent, it should have worked. With Men in Black as a franchise, it should have worked. But that movie is boring as heck because the jokes don't land. It's just not funny. And it's disappointing. And so here, in other Marvel movies, the two characters I think work very well. In Ragnarok, I thought they worked very well, and individually they work very well. In this movie and in Men in Black too, they're pretty. Men in Black International, they're pretty similar in that the comedy just did not work for me, and a lot of the pieces did not make sense. It was as though Christian Bale and everybody else are in two different movies where you've got a heightened level of seriousness. The stakes are high. You can understand that character, and it's something that this genre of the MCU does well, where they develop the villains, and in some cases they're really, really bad, like Hela or Thanos. But in this case, or you could even maybe rationalize some of the Thanos's thinking here, or you can understand his worldview still terrible, obviously. But here, um, it's an interesting villain. It's an interesting villain, and there's stakes, there's violence, and yeah, it's just like they're in totally different movies. And when they come together, then they're in Christian Bale's movie. But then in everywhere else, it's I don't know if Chris Hemsworth is just ad libbing a bunch, and they just made stuff up as they went. But yeah, the jokes just became taxing, and the whole screaming goat thing was funny. Maybe the first time they appeared.
And then, as I've referenced the Snayer brothers from down the street, before,
Yeah.
it was said very, very often up and down Richmond Street in the 70s. Joke's over, son. Quit laughing. Move it along.
Yeah.
Your moment came. Your moment passed. Get your goat. Come and get Taika Waititi. Come get your kids and get these CGI goats off of my screen.
Yeah, screaming goat. Yes, they're screaming goats. It's like really loud too with these screaming goats who serve only the purpose of being able to haul the boat.
The tour boat. Cool visual, very, very Kirby-like visual, but let those goats, let them be breathing while they're galloping the Rainbow Bridge, and let them not be braying and such.
Yeah. The screaming goats were too much. I agree with that. Jim Campbell writes, "It's wild that this is a Marvel movie. Gore hates God for letting his daughter die. Lady Thor accepts her fate, goes to heaven, and Thor stops believing in his god Zeus, and kind of decides to steal the bolt and become his own hero god." Well, and I guess it's the Norse and the versus the Roman. No, Norse versus the Greek gods. Sorry about that.
You go Greco-Roman, that's fine, but chronological. I'm just saying chronological. It's all I'm saying. I didn't say nobody can't have nothing. I just said chronologically Greco then Rome.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, that's right. I mean, that's a good take. There are some I guess risks attached to how they approached it, and that they were able to do it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but I felt like the Zeus character, to your point, was underwhelming. And the whole plot device of going to Omnipotency City, and not being able to get the army, and like, okay, well, I'm going to take the lightning bolt, and for what purpose? It's the purpose of the lightning bolt appears to be because in certain combinations of the action, you need Valkyrie to have an OP weapon to go against Gore. That seems to be the main point of getting the lightning bolt, which doesn't make really that much sense. It is used later on in the climactic battle, but I just didn't get many of these things. Or for that matter, there's the talk that happens, and then Thor thinks he's gonna save everything, and so the Bifrost appears, puts a hole in the thing, and then bonks his head into the monument thing. And so, is that funny? No, it's not particularly funny. But I was trying to understand, why is that scene even here? And I think it's because they need a way to justify the boat set piece for the rest of the movie. There's just some odd story choices. It's tonally all over the map. You had the interesting as Guardians of the Galaxy end, right, for Endgame, and then it's just sort of okay. It's not that interesting, actually.
Right. It's like they used to say about Superman in the intro of a Superman comic book. They say, just returning to Earth after miscellaneous adventure in space, but you wouldn't get that miscellaneous adventure in space. So now exactly here we are. It's the DC Superman problem from the 50s all over again. The potential, okay, whatever. There, you have to pick a path of the many possible paths. So that was the downside of their choices, that there could have been a full or a half of a Thor and Guardians. So now we're back on the Aquaman problem also. You got Black Manta in there, you got Ocean Master in there. All of a sudden your movie's overcrowded and you're not developing up. enough stuff. Now we got so many comments. I'm trying to go back up to Campbell. Let me come back up to Campbell and right there. So, okay. So yeah. So besides the fact that now I'm well disappointed in the Zeus that I'm seeing after so looking forward to Zeus being interpreted in the MCU. And now it's exactly what Jim said, to combine what Jim's saying and what you were saying, right? So now we're going to kill Zeus, but we need, so he's a clown, but maybe we still need him for the battle, but now we're going to kill him. So now Thor has done the same thing that Gore has done in killing another god, but they're going against each other, but they just had the exact same pattern of behavior. And to tie your point where you're saying it's two different movies, now we're looking at old school Flash Gordon, right? Some of it was very much consistent with your Adam West Batman and camp and high adventure and that stuff. But then other stuff, you got guys melting, and Ming the Merciless was being legit merciless. And because they had a split, some filmed in Italy, and was it the States or was it England? I can't remember. There were, 2 units, 2 sets. And that's why a lot of Flash Gordon was so disparate, so incongruous in its tone, because one director is like, let's go for serious stuff. And the other director was, let's go for hilarity. So now we have infused into Thor the Superman problem, the Aquaman problem, and the Flash Gordon problem. And as much as I did fully enjoy the film, I can't erase that trifecta of problems which manifested within the film.
Did Mjolnir kill Jane Foster?
You could say that. You could say that. You could, I'm not trying. Okay, you could say her medical circumstance did, but you can say Mjolnir contributed.
I mean, it seemed interesting. To address Jane Foster's health, and I understand this is in line with the comics where she does have cancer, and so I'm a big fan of the moments where you can have representation and be able to address certain things, and so there's a dimension of that is interesting, that they did go that route in line with the comics. The but here is I just have a lot of questions. Like, the Mjolnir called to Jane to come, and then allows her to become the mighty Thor. But then every time that she is the mighty Thor, that takes away her energy from fighting cancer, and the cancer doesn't seem to be reacting to treatment. So is it like the last ride aspect, and that's why Mjolnir was calling to her, or was it for this but she was a casualty? I just have questions of that plot point.
You and I and all our guests here, we're not in the writer's room. I'm not saying we deserve to be in the writer's room.
That's right.
But as the common man, as the fan, a common person, fan, as I just said, there. So whereas I had listed a trifecta of baked in problems, so now we have a quadrant incorporating your deconstruction of Mjolnir and Jane Foster's interaction. So I mean, sure, you can't write your way out of every corner, be it Campbell's corner or Crafter's corner or what have you. But yeah, for such a lighthearted romp, that's the most. I'm just bent out of shape about the other 3, but your point is like, ooh, that's legit not good.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. And so since I'm on the topic of weaponry here, and so the reason why they need to get in the boat is because Stormbreaker is upset that Mjolnir has feelings about his ex Hammer. Is that really it? Is it just okay? Fine. And so I wonder sometimes, am I cutting more slack for She-Hulk and its story issues versus this one? And so with She-Hulk, again, I think it is doing its genre. If you think too hard, stuff doesn't make a lot of sense. Why is Wong still here? Shouldn't Wong be in jail because he broke the Abomination out of jail, or Emil Blonsky out of jail. Should he be in jail? No, but he's going to be back in the next. I don't need to think that hard. And it's got the fourth wall, so it's telling you don't think too hard. In this one, in a franchise that kind of prides itself on its interconnectedness and some of its quick-wittedness and structure, yeah, there's some issues. Okay, there's tons of comments. Yeah, so the making of the film explains the over-the-top acting. Kratos will deal with Zeus in due time.
I
Yes,
hope so, Blue. I hope
yeah.
so.
No Loki equals no good jokes. Yeah. Screaming Ghosts. Yeah, we talked about the Screaming Ghosts. The Screaming Ghosts. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right. I already hit I had those already. Dang, you two are just amazing with the knowledge. Mr. C, you were right with Chromacom from Shield, but yeah, no, it was not Chuck Norris. That like breaks my soul.
Well, right, but that's why we got to integrate all that. We no one of us should retain all the data and all the information, and that's why in our own super squad together, we pit our knowledge bases together and end up with a good exchange.
Yeah, I gotta watch Love and I think that's Thunder. Love and Thunder now. Yes, and I got mixed feelings. Yeah, exactly. Oh yes, and then naked Thor. Fine. Yeah, it's fine.
So then from the trailer, mid-credit trailer or ending trailer, I just watched it yesterday. I can't tell you which one it was, but so now here comes the voiceover or the quick shot of Zeus panning to Hercules. Okay, we kind of messed up here. We need to go in a different route. So maybe that's a way of self-indicting our critiques about the film. But so I'm hoping that if Thor 5 or wherever Hercules may appear in the Marvel universe, again, the actor, I can't think of his name, but he had the right physicality. I would say in that regard, he's well cast. But please, Marvel, don't give me clown Hercules. And again, I showed Hercules Von. So another like a deep cut, a book that was not successful, a book that didn't make it 18 or 19 issues, The Champions. So again, it's a real crazy mashup of trying to replicate the Avengers strategy of you have a god figure and then a street level character and then characters with some degree of powers. But so The Champions was a mid-70s book, which, as you can see, featured some former X-Men at the time, Angel and Iceman. Then you've got Ghost Rider to be like the dark horse or the brooding, the mysterious, the difficult to be a team player, kind of in Hawkeye's role, but a little bit supernatural instead of arrows in a quiver. And then you got Black Widow. So I thought this book did a lot of great stuff besides its short run. But so I guess I say that to say, given my association with comics page Hercules through Bob Layton and through your Don Heck and your John Byrne here, let's see some legit Hercules, be it in Thor 5 or be it wherever else he would appear.
See, now so this comment from Junkyard. See, I appreciate this take a lot. One of my kids hated Thor because they don't want death from cancer in a escapism Marvel movie. Yeah, that's a good take. Making, it can feel like making light of cancer in a Marvel film.
Maybe in their minds they broke even by sending Jane Foster off to Valhalla. Maybe, but yeah, I agree. And then compared to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, it's a very brief segment at the beginning where Star-Lord's mother passes on. And I would say that's done in a respectful character origin kind of a way. And then it's moved on from, but yeah, the specter of her death, the serious tone of that isn't then looming through the rest of the movie. The transition from the seriousness of the character origin to the adventure was better done in Guardians.
I completely agree.
Hey, Ben Kenobi was sliced down to a phantom robe, and again, that's completely different than real medical cancer. But it's how the writing and the acting equates into the transitional work after. Go ahead.
Well, Blue Sasquatch, my wife has the screaming goat alarm. That's really unfortunate. Um, and my daughter and friends dressed up as Thor and loved, his booty part. Yeah, that is a highlight of
Well,
the. I mean, how Chris Hemsworth as ripped as just astounding. Blue Sasquatch, that's hilarious about the alarm clock. I would kill Zeus just because of the accent. Or okay, okay. And then all right. Oh man, I gotta scroll through. There's okay, don't do that. Um, yes, the
Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda bit. You see, but that was like funny-ish the first time. And yeah, okay. So did they run out of money for the Eternity character's art? Like, was it a cardboard cutout?
Okay. Yes, Campbell. Now that we're back in Campbell's corner, all I can say is yes. Kind of cool to see Eternity have a first time appearance from the comic page translated into the MCU. But again, total, give Eternity lines, but let Russell Crowe stay silent. My little eraser would have allowed for certain things. Again, kind of cool to just see a first touch on Eternity, but what the hell?
Yeah. No, kudos there to Campbell, and you can't put. Yeah, I guess you can't put Wong in jail, but still, I mean, the panel says you just admitted to a crime. But
you're not a U.S. citizen, so I mean, right?
Yeah,
Where was
right.
the crime committed, and all that stuff. So
Yes, we talked about this. Yeah, so he's comfy and is with his big screen TV, watching The Sopranos. Yeah, no, yeah, no. Okay, Valkyrie was so underused. Yes, what's her story? Yeah,
man, been watching Tessa Thompson since Veronica Mars season 2. Again, it's the Aquaman problem. You got so many elements that you're trying to squeeze in. Somebody has to have reduced screen time, so at the expense of Chris Pratt and the entire Guardian squad, and at the expense of Tessa Thompson. I mean, maybe she's just happy that she had the screen time, and maybe down the road, Valkyrie character will have a Disney Plus or something. I'm good for that. But as it stands for the product that was put in front of us, legit critique that she kind of got limited to her screen time.
Yeah, and there's even a moment where, again, I think it's where the writing just sort of is flawed. There's a moment where Valkyrie is impaled by Gore, and then they just sort of Natalie Portman needs to take her away out of the screen. It's kind of like in She-Hulk, where the paralegal is talking or watching that TV show, the TV piece with Jen Walters, and then Wong appears, and then paralegal just leaves. Sort of okay. Was it just because you couldn't figure out how to gracefully exit from the thing, or it just seems like a problem with the story writing? Yeah, I usually don't like kids in movies. However, I did like the final battle with the kiddos. Love the Wolf Boy kid. Yeah, I was wrestling with how I felt about this, because other takes of that scene, of that moment, would have been, Thor saves the kids, and then they're off the page, or something. Or they're cowering in the back while Gore is doing his big bad stuff, threatening the kids. So it was an interesting take, and it is a nice, fun moment. I like these kinds of, the uprising back at the end.
Yeah, and again, it was for what tone was chosen. It was consistent. You go, maybe it's a little similar to, Ewoks are going to overthrow the Empire. And again, I never actually read the God Butcher story, but just from watching clips or reviews of it on YouTube on more professional channels than our amateur channel, it was some dark stuff. I mean, Gore was going to go out and assassinate every god possible based on his, rage at the god that let him down. So yeah, hey, it was, again, maybe there's younger people out there, not our generation or what have you, that felt, give the younger kids in the audience something to connect to. Give them a Spider-Man character or a Dick Grayson Robin character in their youth to relate to. So I can't fault the picture for that.
No, absolutely. I mean that's kind of scratching the Goonies kind of itch, right? Where you saw yourself, if you were of that age when it came out, you saw yourself in the kids, and it was exciting in that way. Or if you saw Stand by Me and you were of that age, it resonated. And so to give younger viewers that type of moment in this, yeah, I thought it was fine. I did wonder, okay, Thor is putting kids into battle with these demon things that are not well animated, but whatever. The visual effects a little rough, and so like, what if any of the kids died? I mean, thankfully they didn't, but
so yeah, but they gave away the hand. You kind of knew they weren't. And
yeah,
as a nuance within that, as it was Odin who put the oath or the enchantment on the hammer that whoever be worthy, da 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 da. So now, as Odin is gone and as Thor is in that position of king or all father, if you will, high father, if we're going to look at a different Kirby interpretation within the fourth world. But so there's Thor in that position. And so that was a kind of a neat passing of the torch from 3 generations in that way, from Odin to Thor to these young Asgardians.
Yeah. The kids were the victims in the beginning, and now Victoria. Yeah, that helps. So talking about it, yeah, I better appreciate it. For me, I in the moment, I had questions about the decision making here. And then is Wong going to be the new Nick Fury? He's popping up everywhere. It seems, knowing everyone's tea, getting the new Avengers together. Seems like it.
He already is,
Yeah.
He will he continue to be? Sure, why not?
Yeah. And he helps to buffer the Twitter hate that can appear as actually directly acknowledged in She-Hulk. And thank goodness Zeus wasn't making it. Probably
True.
Kind of rough right there. Well, I'm just looking at my notes. Oh, so given what happens with Jane Foster, this was on Twitter. We see in the end credits that Jane Foster is in the gates of Valhalla, and with her passing, you see the what is it? The golden dust that appears. Same thing when Thor, Odin, died, although he didn't die in battle, which was a big point.
Right. Or but you get an exception when you're the top dog of all in the pantheon.
Sure, fine, but they made a big deal about it. They even told Lady Sith, you can't die right now because
it's not for
whatever. But when Loki dies, any of the times that he's died, which they mock in the movie, you don't see the gold dust stuff. So
careful, maybe because Loki was genetically a bit of a frost giant, if I'm not messing that up. So maybe there's a difference in that regard, but yeah.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Not sure where Loki is, but not in the gates of Valhalla, apparently. Yeah. So I'm glad you finally got to see Thor: Love and Thunder. Oh yeah, I did like that it acknowledges with the Love and Thunder name. You think it's about Jane Foster and Thor, but it's actually about the daughter.
And talk about a nice touch. I didn't actually check the credits, but I believe that to be accurate, the information I received, that's actually the real life daughter of Hemsworth, who was that young actress then. If that's right, then hey, I'm all for that. Let them have that for the rest of their days. That Dad and me were in a movie together when I was a really young kid. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think this is one of our longest live streams.
If we go another 10 minutes, we're tying our Sven documentary.
Oh my goodness.
And if we make it there, we do. If we're cut shorter, that's great. But my last item to close out is I've been waiting for a
Oh,
minute to get my Monsterologist t-shirt, which just came short hours
oh,
ago. If you guys haven't seen our Monsterologist featuring episodes in the recent times, but this I'm on no, I got no discount for this. I'm not shilling, but I'm just here. This is a comfortable t-shirt from Monsterologist. He's got different colors and different sizes available. Again, with the other with the other patch, with the other visual art that Monsterologist also expresses through patches, stickers, prints, and magnets. I couldn't be happier to have my new t-shirt from Monsterologist. And but again, monsterologist.com has to be one of the coolest .coms of all .coms. If that's of interest to you, check it out and pick yourself up something. And if it's not of interest to you, then behold the gift. I say in Hercules tribute, behold the gift of my Cyclopean t-shirt.
So you are excited about the Hercules character appearing, right?
Well, but I'm guardedly optimistic, to use that terminology. Don't give me clown Hercules on the screen. At least Thor had two pictures that were more Shakespearean in nature before they broke the route of comedy. But I want to be excited about Hercules. Marvel doesn't owe me anything. I'm not deserving of anything in any kind of a way. But would I very much enjoy to see similar to a Momoa interpretation of Aquaman, a blowhard braggart who's really full of himself to get knocked down on his pegs a little bit and then have a redemptive arc. Would that be the kind of Hercules that I would like to see? Yes. Would I like to see some of the stuff that was seen in Champions or the Volume 1 and the Volume 2? Would I like to see some of those same themes expressed? Absolutely. As a bit, I think it's in the Volume 2. He's trying to outsmart Galactus. So his move is, let me get Galactus drunk. And and that way I'm going to save this planet from Galactus eating them. So again, some element of comedy for Hercules would be consistent with the character and enjoyable and appreciable. But let me also see, again, somebody who's misguided in lots of ways, but a heavy hitter with with durability and physical power, and let me see a legit action battle sequence.
I know nothing about the Hercules character, so I'm interested. I'm interested. I'm not excited. Yeah, similar to you have the background actually with the comics and everything else, but from what little I saw, like okay,
and that goes back to when we were still in the same class, and we'd go to library, and I'd be plucking out of our grade school library the mythology books and sitting right down there at the 6-seat library table and checking it out from early on. I would, again, as do my Marvel and DC roots go back early, so do my mythology roots, and I'll patiently await and hope for something we can all enjoy out of the Hercules character.
Drunk Galactus, was Ares the god of war in the Marvel universe? I don't think so.
But yes,
was he?
So within the full Greco-Roman pantheon, and yes, Ares does appear, and then later Bendis used him in the Avengers, the Norman Osborn corrupted Avengers, and absolutely did well. I'm going to pull the plug on myself here before I'm too wound up, but yes, there were some interesting kid-friendly translations of traditional Greco-Roman mythology into the Disney Hercules movie. And there was other stuff that, like Pegasus, the winged horse, is within the Perseus story. I see why you want to put your best mythological animal character ally with your top hero. Exactly, in 97. So Disney did a lot of stuff that I was really, really on board with. Thanks, Mandarin.
Yeah. It's funny. My son started watching Hercules earlier this week, and he got maybe about 10 minutes in and just stopped. It just it didn't.
Well, at his age right now, yeah, that's not for him.
It wasn't working for him. I didn't realize it was a musical, or I think it's a musical, or it's got a lot of music in it.
It's of the generation
Yeah,
following Little
of that.
Mermaid, following Beauty and the Beast, following all the rest of the things in the well, I should say late 80s through 90s. It was on that same Disney template and same formula.
Yeah. Did you watch Hercules and the Warrior Princess?
A bit, yeah. I thought it was schlock, but I still watched it for a study break at that point in the day. Like if I knocked down a couple of hours of morning studying on a Saturday and a couple of hours after lunch, then that was my guilty pleasure. I thought that went in a similar to Thor. I thought that went in a rampant direction that wasn't consistent with the mythology as I knew it, but clearly it was a very successful show. And again, getting to see Tony Quinn in his later years, after he had in his younger years played Zorba, getting to see him do a legitimate fake Greek accent and play Zeus as a guest star in that way. I was in and out of that show, but it was pretty decent.
Clash of the Titans, the OG, and yes, you got the Medusa. We showed on the screen the Migo Medusa last week. Right on Chester.
And speaking of Migo, if we want to go in our that's a whole other. That's
completely off topic.
If we want to drop to the last two pictures that I dropped into the picture stream.
All right.
So, and again, we're saying Migo and Medusa. If you wanted to look at the MIB Master channel, he just did a really great review of the Medusa figure. But yeah, so on Casual Crafters channel, and look. I mean, just so here's the recent hits, the recent playlist, if you will, of Casual Crafter. So he's got some Batman features, some Star Trek features, some Planet of the Apes feature. And if we flip back to the other picture, there it is. This is his most well, it's not 9 hours anymore. It's about 12 hours from as we speak here. But that was a really fun and entertaining episode where Crafter did some unboxing on the Figure Toys Company Migo compatible figures. But look at those colors, look at those suits. That's some good stuff. So please do check out Crafter's channel. If you have not yet subbed to Crafter, Casual Crafter, there's a few Casual Crafter channels, but this is the one that's doing me. I think he's at 248 subs when last I checked. So can we get Crafter up to 250? That would be great. Crafter does some real nice work. Him and J Spy. Oh, you are in here, Crafter. All right, hey. Let's get Crafter to 250.
All right, and then Migo and Ultraman. Yeah, so with what I did watch that latest video, and Crafter, I hope they they come through and fixing the two left hands or the two right hands with the Catwoman. But the head sculpts, the quality of the builds are really spot on. It's really great work.
See, Crafter hangs out with J Spy, a guy with spy in his name. And then Crafter's just quietly in the chat, almost like a spy, until we call for his attendance, and then he's all like, "I'm present."
Oh,
so good to know you're along with us, Crafter.
All right, Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks. I don't know what's going on now. Oh, okay. So they did get back. That's good. That is good. Yes, So on the flats, I had a really great time in the flats way back when. It was just the best time. And then I went back, I want to say like 10 years later, and then it was like desolate. It was like sketchy. And now I understand that it's come back again. So I would like to go back to the flats.
But we're now sketchy in a different kind of a way. But let me not play ageism toward ourselves. Yeah, it's okay. We can hang, if we're over that way, we can hang out in the flats.
That's right.
Speaking of Cleveland and the Ohio time zone, though, not to give full spoilers or full things, but it should be soon. We have a Cleveland-ish, I don't know, let me not say Cleveland. Let me say an Ohio base of operations kind of a guest soon, but we're not going to do a full announce right here. But as I'm sure Chai-Star, it's already on the screen. When's the next live stream? Expect to see soon scheduled to appear a Migo legend host channel. A Migo legend channel host soon to appear. with us over here.
Yeah, no, looking forward to coordinating that, and yeah, that will be excellent. And thank you, Mandarin. This is exactly what goes on in my head. Oh, thank you for doing that. That is exactly the voice in my head. Hercules, Hercules. That is exactly what goes on in my head when I see the Hercules name.
Well, we just broke our record. This is now our longest show ever. And I want to say I so much appreciate the guests in the comments making the show better than it would be if it was just the two of us bantering back and forth. And so, again, we'll put the announcement up and all that. But if our regular guests are available 1 week from today, more so in the afternoon time, that would be really great to have everybody along with our anticipated special guest to the show.
Yeah, that's right. So make sure to follow us or subscribe to us, but also that notifications thing actually will be handy for that one. In that we're still locking down the exact time, so more to come on that. Excuse me, I've been consuming my beverage too quickly here. So what is it? The man you okay? Yeah, that might be a dangerous thing. Okay. Yes. Anyways, yes, we're looking forward to having a guest here. I like having guests on this thing.
Right, hey, Crafter was our first guest.
Yes.
And since then we've had we've had Jay Spy on as our second formal guest, I'd say. And then when we had the Bonanza or the All-Star Bash,
that was wild.
We had many guests all on the same show there. So we're hoping next week to continue to put out banter-worthy content for all of our sakes.
There we go. Well, I think I'm going to go back to trying to watch Lord of the Rings, The Power of the Ring, or Ring of Power, whatever it is. I just started the first episode. I'm about halfway through it. So I'm going to go to that. Post in the comments if you're watching something after this. What are you watching? What should we be watching? You got to hear what we've been watching. We've been watching the She-Hulk. We've caught up on Thor Love and Thunder. But if there's something else that we ought to be tuning into, post in the comments, because we're looking for stuff to watch.
I'm going to go back to watching Monsterologist's page and dropping 5-star instead of Chai-star reviews for all the different Monsterologists. Oh man, I should just do this also real quick. So yeah, if you didn't see our Monsterologist episode before, here's some patches from Monsterologist. We will have some Mego and Fanboy Cantina consistent related Halloween mini episodes coming up kind of soon, doing, I don't want to say a character study, but a character exploration with the theme of Halloween coming around. But again, trying to show some cool product and cool art, such as that which is behind me on the wall. So again, we appreciate having everybody who's live on the show and everybody who's watching later. This is just fun. I mean, we broke our record now by going on 4 minutes. So.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So Jim Campbell asked, anyone care about Andor? Yeah, I'm looking for it's the 21st that it comes out. 3 episodes dropping. I'm in the Pacific time zone, so I could be right there when it drops. I don't know how long each episode is, so I probably am not. If it's an hour long, I'm not staying up till 2 a.m. Or 3 a.m. to get through 3 hours of content. But I am definitely looking forward to that one. And Crafter, yeah, see, that's a good example. This is because we talk about it so much here. I do feel like it's a gap, and I've admitted I've seen Planet of the Apes, but it's been a very long time. And then I know there's like multiple like movies. And I don't think anybody cares about the. Was it Marky Mark? What was the one? Was it a Wahlberg? No. What was the other one? It had Duncan. Oh man, I am embarrassing myself. There was a reboot.
Right.
Planet
Some of
the
it was
Apes.
Tim Burton for a minute, which makes sense because Tim Burton is somewhat of in the vein of a Rod Serling. So as Rod Serling had his influences well established on the OG series, OG POTA, if you will. So yeah, but then I quite honestly didn't follow the stuff at that time.
Anyway, so I did see that one, and I've seen the more recent Planet of the Apes movies, but the old school original, I've seen like maybe two in it, and it's been ages since I've last seen it. So definitely, this is on my list of things to catch up on. And if you go back, Fanboy G, let me know. Yeah, okay, yes, I would like to, as we said, I would like to get to the flats. We are still not doing the cosplay thing. No, this is just not in the car.
I'm gonna go Ben Kenobi on that. And who's the fool? The fool who follows the fool, or however he said it.
Okay. Yes, Tim. No, yes, that's right.
Thanks, Campbell. I didn't even know that. I just see it now that I lean back. There's the little reflection of Fanboy G in the glass over the Creature of the Black Lagoon. So now we're going on 6 full minutes of breaking our longest episode.
Tony Blaze. Okay. All right. I think let's call it a night. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Mr. C, thank you for being here as well.
Thanks again to everybody. And again, check us out next week. We plan to be back with some quality guests and some quality content.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Do us a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate it. It helps the channel to grow. Thank you for spending a bit of your evening with us. Thanks for watching. This has been the Fanboy Cantina with 2 N's and 1 Y, but it's not where you think. Take care.